everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is b.eeana and I'm a second-year medical student at a DO school. So last week I had filmed a bunch of content, but I didn't make time this weekend to edit it, so that's why you guys didn't get a video last weekend. And I thought about just posting last week's video this week and then this week's video next week, but then that would mean I would be a week behind. And then I also considered just combining both vlogs into one vlog. Then it would be a 30-minute vlog, and I figured like the majority of you would not want to watch a 30-minute vlog, so I just figured I would scrap that content because honestly, nothing super exciting happened last week anyway, but I can just recap quickly what had happened. So I took the COMAT on Monday, which is basically the mock board exam. And apparently if you score between a 180 to a 200, that means you are scoring what is average for a typical second-year medical student. And if you score anything above a 200, that means you are above average. So as long as you're scoring in that range, that means you are progressing well in your studies. And to my surprise, I actually scored a little bit above a 200. So apparently I am above average, which I thought I was going to be below average, but wow. Okay, you go, girl. And then on Tuesday, I had my rubric test, and I got 100 on that. And apparently, you didn't have to assess dermatomes on the rubric test, but I honestly just assumed that if I had to do myotomes and DTRs of the upper and lower extremities, I also had to do dermatomes of the upper and lower extremities, but apparently I did it, so I spent time doing that when I actually didn't have to. And then I also checked proprioception of all 10 toes, but apparently since I assessed dermatomes, I didn't have to do the proprioception. But again, I didn't know I didn't have to do dermatomes, so I thought I had to do both. So anyway, I took time to do things that I didn't even have to do. I did more than I needed to do. And then at the very end of the rubric test, I repeated back every single thing that I was supposed to do on that checklist to make sure I didn't forget anything. And then while I was speaking out loud about all of the things I was supposed to do, I realized I forgot to check the thoracic inlet. So then I went and I assessed the thoracic inlet. And then at the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then my professor looks at me and she's like, okay, well now we're at the 2-minute mark and you did forget a couple things. So on the outside, I'm like, oh, okay, I forgot a couple things. Let me think. But on the inside, I am freaking out because I'm like, how could I have forgotten something? I literally just repeated every single thing that I was supposed to do on that rubric, and you're telling me I forgot something and I only have 2 minutes to think about it. There's no way I'm gonna figure out the one thing that I forgot. But then before she let me spiral down completely, she started dying laughing and was like, I'm totally kidding. You got everything. You actually did more than I even expected you to do, and you did it with time to spare, so don't even freak out. You're great. And I was like, okay. In the moment, it was not funny, but thinking back now, it was a good joke. It was a great joke even, but in the moment, I was freaking out. Okay, so that was Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, nothing crazy happened. Last week, honestly, I just went over pathoma and I did the rest of the renal questions in UWorld. So AMBOSS and UWorld combined, I think I did maybe like 400-ish practice questions for the renal unit. So I'm all done with those now. And I think on average, I scored probably like a 65%. I think that if I waited until after I finished studying all of the material before I tried practice questions, I would score much higher. But I like to do the practice questions as I'm learning the material. That's basically everything that happened last week. Later today, I have a standardized patient encounter. It is ungraded, but it's meant to be practice for the clinical skills assessment that I'm going to have in a couple weeks, which is actually worth like half of my clinical skills grade. So today I'm going to see a standardized patient. I have to get an entire history from them, perform a 2-system physical exam, give them an assessment and plan, and then do a oral presentation to my attending physician, and then I have to write a SOAP note, and then that'll be that. And I do have a renal exam next Monday. I was feeling pretty good about it. Like I said, I really love renal, and I thought I was really on top of everything, which I might be, but I don't know. At the moment, I'm just feeling a little bit overwhelmed because I have my standardized patient encounter. Tomorrow, we have on doctoring, and then tomorrow I also have student clinic. So it's just a lot of things that were squished into the week prior to an exam, and I just wish the timing of things was better. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys when I start studying. All right, so I just had my standardized patient encounter, and that is probably the worst I have ever done. So I am feeling really bummed and disappointed in myself. And the only person I can blame is me, because it is literally my fault that it didn't go well, because I did not prepare for it nearly as much as I should have. Because 1, I knew it wasn't going to be graded. 2, I have an actual real exam coming up next week that is going to be graded and that is going to count. So that's what I was a lot more focused on. And 3, because we were in the renal unit, I was kind of expecting the patient to have a specific chief complaint. So that's why I didn't bother memorizing all of the rubrics, because I figured there's no way the chief complaint is going to be about this part of the body. So I'm not going to memorize the physical exam rubric for that specific part of the body. And then of course I go in and the patient's like, oh, my chief complaint is blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm thinking, are you kidding me right now? What are the odds that the chief complaint is going to be about this specific part of the body that I did not memorize the physical exam rubric for? I just felt so disorganized and flabbergasted because I didn't have that specific physical exam rubric memorized. So I was just trying to go off of memory from months and months ago from when I did actually look at it. I was trying to go off of what I thought would be reasonable and logical to check in this region. Then of course, there were a couple things that I forgot to check. I went out of order because I didn't have it memorized like word for word. And it just, I don't know, I just felt like a mess, and I'm disappointed because it's totally my fault. It could have been avoided if I just took the time to memorize every single rubric. And yes, there are a lot of rubrics to memorize, but I totally could have done it if I had just taken the time to do it. But I chose to be stupid and irresponsible, and now it's biting me in the butt. And I got feedback from my attending physician. She said I did a great job, and I just had to work on the organization. So I know I'm probably being a little bit too hard on myself right now, but clinical skills is kind of the thing that I am good at. So the fact that I didn't do well this time makes me feel so incompetent and incapable, because I'm better at clinical skills than I am at the medical knowledge portion. So the fact that I didn't kill it just makes me feel like I'm not good at anything, which I know is not true. I'm being so dramatic and being like a pity party right now, which is pathetic, but I just feel disappointed because this totally could have been avoided. But I decided to make an irresponsible decision this weekend and not prepare for this, and now this is what happens. And honestly, it doesn't even matter because it's not graded. It was simply for practice, and I would much rather that I screw up during this practice. That's how that went. I'm just gonna stop sulking now because I need to go work on this renal study guide. I just got home from student clinic and it was super fun. Basically, a patient came in and I did a full history and physical with my partner, and then we diagnosed her, and then we treated her with OMM, and then at the end of it, she had an improved range of motion in the lumbar spine, in the pelvis, the innominate, and the lower extremity, and her pain was slightly better. So that was really great. It's always such a good learning experience when you actually get to see a real patient. Basically, all day I had on doctoring from 10 to 12, which honestly was not the most effective use of my time, but it was mandatory that I was there, so it happened. And then I worked on the renal study guide, and now I'm going to work out, shower, eat, and then continue studying for that renal exam. Hi guys, so it's currently Thursday and it's 1:30 p.m. I haven't gotten any work done yet today. It's been a very slow start to the day because I didn't get out of bed until noon, and then I just ate, so no studying has been accomplished yet. I didn't tell you guys this yet, but over winter break, I went and had my physical, and the main issue that I brought up was chronic fatigue and difficulty sleeping, and after doing a whole assessment, we determined that those symptoms were due to underlying anxiety and depression that weren't being treated, which, I mean, I already kind of knew, but the reason I didn't really jump the gun about getting it treated was because my anxiety and depression mostly manifests as difficulty sleeping and fatigue, and not really too much as mood symptoms. I mean, at times my mood would be a little bit labile, and when I was stressed out, I would be more irritable and I would get sad, but it was never anything like really too prominent. It was really the whole sleep, and I was starting to realize that the sleep and fatigue were interfering with my productivity a little bit, so I brought it up to my physician and was like, look, I would like to get this treated. So I was started on escitalopram 10 milligrams a day. I've only been taking it for about a week and a half, so the effects haven't really kicked in yet because it takes about 4 weeks for them to really kick in. My mood is the same because, I mean, honestly, my mood is mostly fine, and it has done nothing for my sleep yet. And I was also started on trazodone 50 milligrams as needed, but the problem is I need it every single night. So I've been taking trazodone 50 milligrams for the last few nights, and it has helped me a lot with my sleep because prior to taking trazodone, I would take close to 2 hours every night to fall asleep, so I wouldn't fall asleep until like 1 a.m. And then I would wake up 5 to 6 times every single night, and each time I woke up, I would be awake for anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes. So obviously I was getting very interrupted, unrestful sleep, which is why I would be so tired during the day. But now when I take the trazodone, I fall asleep within an hour, which is honestly still kind of a long time. However, I am able to stay asleep through the entire night, or if I wake up, I only wake up once, and it's for a very brief amount of time. So my sleep is much less interrupted and more restful. But I feel like one of the side effects I get from the trazodone is that I feel really groggy in the morning, which is why when I tried waking up this morning, it was very difficult. I snoozed my alarm so many times, and then all of a sudden I wake up and it's noon. So obviously we need to do some tweaking with the medications. But yeah, that's an update that I just wanted to give you guys. And now I guess we're just gonna get back to studying for renal, or I guess technically start studying for renal since I haven't done anything yet today. Hear me out. I know I look kind of crazy right now, and now I'm also realizing that I've sat in this seat for half of the vlog, so I hope you guys are not bored of this background. But I wanted to let you guys know what I did this weekend because you are gonna be shook, because I am shook. So today I had my renal exam, and I still love renal, okay? It's my favorite. I really do think I'm gonna be a nephrologist. Unless my exam grade tomorrow is not good, then maybe I'll have to reconsider. But right now I'm thinking I might specialize in nephrology because holy cow, I freaking love the kidneys. Anyway, I took the exam today, and the exam was super fair. There are always, a handful of questions that are tough and I don't know the answer to. Happens on every single exam. No big deal. I submitted my exam with 10 minutes to spare, but I finished the exam with 50 minutes to spare. So then for 40 minutes, I literally went back and forth over 7 questions that I had flagged because for whatever reason, I could not figure out the answers to those 7 questions. A couple of questions, I do think they're going to be dropped because when I was reading the questions, I was like, honestly, I don't think anybody knows the answer to this because I have no idea when this was covered. 7 questions, okay? And those 7 questions haunted me for 40 minutes. And then I was just like, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to submit it because even if I get these 7 questions wrong, I still think I'm going to ace it. So I left the exam feeling pretty good. I was like, I definitely could have aced that. Then other people left that exam and they were like, oof, no bueno. They weren't feeling good about it. So then I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't be feeling good about it because maybe I thought I was only struggling with 7 questions, but maybe there were a whole bunch of other questions that were actually really hard and I just like wasn't thinking about them, so I didn't realize they were hard. I guess we'll find out tomorrow how it went. I personally feel like I did really well because I feel like I understand renal material really well, but who knows. Anyway, this weekend, I didn't study, guys. I did not study this weekend. And that's crazy, right? Who doesn't study the weekend before an exam during med school? Apparently me. Apparently I am that girl. For the last 3 months-ish, on and off, for half the week or maybe even an entire week, Eric has been gone because he's had to work on site, so he's been staying at his parents' house. This weekend he was coming home. I obviously want to spend the weekend with him as opposed to studying, so I was really focused during the weekdays to study. And so on Saturday, all I did was review Pathoma and First Aid and my study guide, which altogether took about 2 hours, and then the rest of the day I just hung out with him and we binged a new Netflix show. And then on Sunday he competed in a volleyball tournament, which I went to and watched because I love watching him compete in his tournaments. So I really didn't study this weekend, and the reason I decided to do that was because I had been preparing for the renal exam for the last 3 weeks of renal. And every time I studied renal, I loved the material so much that it honestly just felt like I was learning renal. Like everything I was learning was just so fun and exciting. And I was really glad that things were clicking really well. So I figured I've already been studying for 3 weeks. I feel like I have a really good grasp on this material. What's another 2 days of studying going to do? Probably not much. So then I made the executive decision to just not study over the weekend. And then of course last night before I go to bed, I'm like freaking out because I know everyone else was studying their butts off and I wasn't, and that made me feel like, oh my god, you probably just made a real big mistake. So there was the anxiety and then the horrible sleep. Okay, anyway, woke up, took the exam, and I feel like it went fine. However, for all I know, I could regret telling you all of this because if I get my exam grade back tomorrow and it's bad, then I'm going to look very stupid and irresponsible. But I guess you're not going to know and I'm not going to know until tomorrow because I don't have my exam grade back yet. That's how it went, guys. Wish me luck. I really hope I don't regret my decision. I don't think I do, but other people are making me feel like maybe I should. Okay, everyone, I just got home from OMM, and I had to fight the urge to check my grade during all 4 of those hours, but at 8 a.m. our grades got released for the exam, and then I had 4 hours of OMM, and I was like, no, I'm not checking it in here. I'm gonna wait till we get home so we can vlog it. Here we go, moment of truth. What? I'm very surprised by this grade. I thought I did better than that. I mean, I did fine, but I walked out of there thinking I aced it. And I didn't, but it's still fine. But wow, guys, I'm surprised. I thought I really knew that material. Holy cow. I'm a little bit bummed. But all right, guys, I got an 86 on the exam. I'm a little bit sad, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I wish I was ending it on a better note, but like, whatever. I passed, right? That's all that matters. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. And if you did, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.